Hey everyone, today I'll be talking about Endless Space 2. I'm going to be teaching you about the Cravers, how the Cravers play, and this will be a guide. So, I did get Endless Space 2 recently, so I'm still learning the game. And I did play Cravers recently, so I'm still learning them. But I figured I make a guide anyways. So, I don't think the game tutorial is that great. It's not very good at teaching you. And I did look up some tips, but they're from years and years ago. So I figured, hey, why not give this a shot? And it's a new player making a guide video for new players. And I thought this was a cool idea and maybe it can work. So to be honest with you, I only played Cravers once, but I played them for hours, right? And I think I got a good idea of what to do and how they work. So I did make a video on the Sophons, which is a science-y faction, and I did make a video about the United Empire, which is more of a resource faction, if that makes sense. And we're going to be talking about the Cravers. I will talk about Endless Space 2 in case you never heard of it, and I'll be talking about the Cravers like you never heard of it. So what is Endless Space 2? It's kind of like a board game. It's kind of like a party game where I know this is a guide, but you can do whatever you want. It's kind of a party game where it's fun to like mess around and stuff. So I'll teach you the right way to play Cravers, but as a party game, it's okay to like mess around and stuff. So I will teach you the start of Cravers to get you going, and then from there you can play your way. So I think that'd be fun. Something I want to mention, and this is just for me, is yesterday I did get the DLC. You can see down here that this one's lit up. I did come into some money, and I did manage to get the DLC, and wow, did that change the game. It actually completely changed the game, and it made it so much fun. So the DLC not only added new factions, but it also changed the base game. So now the base game feels completely different. It's like a night and day difference between, you know, the base game feels completely different from what it was before. And I wanted to talk about that because I just want to mark that down. The last video I did not have the DLC, and as of recording I do. And it does make the game feel a lot better. It also made the game a lot faster too, which was one of the big problems. If you play Endless Space 2, it takes hours to do anything, and I do think the game is a lot faster now. So anyways, I highly recommend DLC, even the $3 ones. There's $3 DLC that adds a lot to the game. This isn't a sponsored ad or anything. If you get just one of the DLCs, it makes the game a lot better. Like a lot better. So I just want to throw that out there. Yeah, I got this game on sale, so I didn't pay much for it. But I did pay full price for the DLCs. So that's something for me. I just want to throw that out there. And when I do hit new game, it will say this is active, all that. So yeah, I just wanted say that for me. I really enjoyed what I got. So, where was I at? So this is like a board game. So if you like board games, this is for you. And it's in space, which is fun. So let's talk about the Cravers. So I only played Cravers once, but I do think they're one of the easier factions to pick up and play. They're not too bad. And let's go ahead and take a look at the Cravers. So new game. This is my computer setup if I want to fight the computer. I have not tried out the new factions out yet. I feel like that would take forever. So what I did was my plan was to just play the old factions and play with the new stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a while before I try out the new factions. I feel like that'd be a lot to learn. So anyways, I made a video about the United Empire, more of a resource faction, more of a politics. Really, United Empire is more of a politic faction. So let's switch it to Cravers. These are the Cravers. This is the guys I want to talk about. So before mankind, before man was a thing, there was these AI gods, machine gods, and they didn't like each other, and they created the Cravers, these things, to go to war. So the Cravers were really smart. They were too fancy for war, so they created these guys to go to war for them. And if you guys don't know who these machine gods are, they kind of look like these.
Join us as we cleanse the galaxy.
These orange things here in black. These are kind of what the gods look like. Now these aren't the gods, but they're like worshippers of the gods. So they're pretty close. They're pretty similar to them. But basically what happened was these things here created the Cravers, which are these things here.
You are our fodder.
Now I do think the Cravers are much easier to learn than, let's say, the human faction. I do think they're much easier to learn than humans, and I really enjoy them. So Cravers are very action-packed. They're very fight-heavy. So you have to learn how the combat in this game works, which is like pages and pages and pages of reading. But if you read all that and you master fighting, you will become a master of Cravers. Another thing about the Cravers is they don't play the basics of the game. So what that means is a lot of the basics you don't have to worry about. So a lot of these races start out with basic stuff, and the Cravers don't, which makes them a lot easier to play, I think. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit new game, and it will show you, hold on, I gotta turn this off, I think. There we go.
War.
Yeah, I had to turn that off.
In endless war.
Okay, now we can start the guide. I'm gonna go ahead and hit new game. You're gonna see a lot of pop-ups. I'm gonna skip the movie. The movie just says their weapons, and they are always hungry. They eat. The Cravers eat everything. They eat rocks, they eat trees, they eat everything. They eat anything that's a resource. So they kill everything, and then they eat everything. And that's the Cravers. So yeah, let's go ahead and start it. I would read this off to you, but I find it difficult to read those small words. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it. Now I do think this will be a shorter guide, as really the only thing you need to know is a fight. So I do think this will be one of the shorter teaching videos. I'll go ahead and skip
For as
this,
long as they can remember,
and you'll see a bunch of
the
pop-ups.
Hive has waged endless.
Okay. So, okay, we got the pop-ups out of the way. Alright, so I think the first thing we're going to do is look at what they're good at, what their strengths and weaknesses, and that'll take a while. So let me go ahead and go over that. And they have a lot of strengths, so they're a good faction. They're definitely one of the better factions in the game. I'll start with that. Alright. So right here is all their strengths and weaknesses. And I'll go ahead and talk about that one by one. So Cravers. That just tells you what faction you are. Pretty good. Slave drivers. Slave drivers is a pretty big deal. So I'll go ahead and explain slave drivers. Slave drivers only affect other aliens. And I'll go ahead and explain slave drivers to you. Let me go ahead and click on this. Wow, this is a terrible start. Really? This is our start. Wow. That is a god-awful start. Huh. Okay. I guess we're gonna deal with that. Interesting. Okay. So slave drivers. So you'll notice that your starting faction is yellow. And that means they're slave driving. So these are the Cravers. And this is a slave, the other alien. Now this guy, what slave driver does is it makes this alien work harder. And when he works harder, he gets more depressed, right? So he's a very depressed alien that works harder. But what that means is you do have above average food. Because you're slave drivers, you have above average food income. So Sofon started out with 21 food, and you have 47 food. And you'll notice that you get a new Craven every 6 turns, which is really fast actually. Getting a new Craven every 6 turns is really, really fast. Because you start out with above average food, you actually don't need this food upgrade. You can see here that it's plus 10 food, but 47 is plenty. 47 is actually a lot higher than pretty much everyone else. You actually pretty much don't need this. You don't need this food upgrade. So, and that's with one slave. Imagine more slaves. This will easily double to like 80 food. So you can quickly get 80 food with Cravers. And they're not a food faction. They're not even a food faction, and they start out with 80 food. So, really, really good. That's one thing I'll say about Cravers, is you actually don't really need these planet upgrades. These are planet upgrades down here, but because your numbers are above average, you actually don't need this. Oh, that's cool. The Craver, I don't know if you can hear it, but the Craver theme song is playing. That in the background is the Craver theme song. Okay. So, that's slave drivers. Basically, anytime you get a new alien, they work harder at the cost of happiness. So your happiness with Cravers, this number here will always be low. So this number here will always be low, and that's your happiness. Now happiness, if your happiness is high, your workers will actually be better. If your happiness is low, your workers will be worse. So you want this to be a high number, as anyone. If you're any race, you want this to be a high number. But with Cravers, it's pretty much impossible to get this to a high number. You pretty much can't as Cravers. So it's pretty much impossible to get this to a high number. So you'll pretty much never have good workers as the Cravers. Alright. So that's Slave Drivers. Slave Drivers is active when this is yellow. Now they're not always yellow. So that's something to remember. Okay. Hiroshima Citizens. Hiroshima Citizens is that alien we talked about, which is this one here. Now, from what I understand, they actually added this alien recently to the game. So, this wasn't here before. I'm not sure what replaced it, but this is actually a new alien they added. I looked at the patch notes, and apparently that's a new faction they added. Big Fleets 2. So what this says is your ships cost less, and you can have a bigger fleet. Now fleet increases your overall damage, which is really good. So Big Fleets 2 is amazing. So that's really, really solid. So Big Fleets 2, really, really strong skill. This is good for anyone. Even when you're just exploring space, this makes exploring much easier. So Big Fleets 2 is a big advantage. That's really good. This will make ship combat a lot easier. This does encourage you to spam ships, which is not a bad idea as Cravers. So as Cravers is actually not a bad idea to spam. I'll go ahead and show you that. So at the start of the game, you have one attacker, which is this one here. And it's not a bad idea to spam them out because of big fleets too. So I'll go ahead and spam them out like this. Every 4 turns, we'll get a new ship. And each one of these is an attacker. And they cost less. So, pretty good idea to actually make a ton of those at the start of the game. Crowded Planets 2. Crowded Planets 2 says you have +2 population slots. Population slots are these lines right here. These circular lines. This shows you how many people can be on your planet. Each person is about 6 resources, and with Slave Drivers, it's more like 10 resources. So each one of these is about 10 resources with Slave Drivers. This planet can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people on it. So that's about, give or take, that's about 80 resources. That might not be exactly right. That's 80 resources, and that's without any planet upgrades. If we get these planet upgrades, this 80 number will be even higher. And there's a lot of upgrades in the game, so we can easily reach the 200 mark. We can have easily 200 resources pretty early on in the game. Like maybe turn 10 we'll have 200 resources. So we can get that pretty easily as the Cravers. Fearless Warrior 1. Fearless Warrior 1 says your soldiers are better. So 10% boost to your soldiers. Soldiers are this. Now, soldiers are only used for attacking planets, and that's it. So, it's a very niche thing. If I click on this screen here, and then click on Manage, at the very top here, you'll see soldiers. Now, soldiers are what the bonus is for. So these soldiers are above average. Now, this is for only attacking planets, and that's it. What's funny is I thought this was 20%. I thought for sure this was 20% better. Did the DLC change it? Weird. I thought for sure this was 20%. Now it's 10%. That's a massive change. Huh. Also, I notice the amount of planets I can have is 6. And in the other video, it was 4. Did the DLC change how many planets I can have? That's actually a big change. Having 2 extra planets. Each one can be 80 resources. So that's an extra 160 resources. I wonder if the DLC changed how many planets I can have. And this definitely said 20% before I bought it. Weird. Well, it looks like they nerfed Cravers. I still think they're probably the best. So, I think even with this nerf, they're pretty good. I guess I'll have to play Cravers again. I didn't know they got nerfed. But I can have 6 planets, which is more than Sophon's. So I guess it's a buff. Huh. Something got changed. Now Vidani also has this. Vidani has this exact same thing. 10% health. Oh wait, no, this is Empire. No. Never mind. So yeah, this makes your attacking a planet much easier. So the fleet upgrade makes your ships better and cheaper, and Fearless Warriors makes your soldiers better. So what you want to do as Cravers is really just go full soldier. If you go full soldier, you'll be alright. Now soldiers do get countered by vehicles. So let's say someone goes full vehicle. You do get countered. So when you attack a planet, if you see vehicles, you might want to watch out. Alright. Next thing is Eternal War. Now Eternal War is more of a negative. This is like a downside for playing Cravers. So, as Cravers, no one is allowed to declare peace on you. Now peace is very niche, and I almost never use it. There's a peace button in the game, in the treaty section, and I almost never press it. It's kind of a useless thing. So, but I do think this is actually a negative. This is a downside of the Cravers. But yeah, no one is allowed to declare peace on you, which is pretty useless, to be honest. Now, it does say nothing about alliances, so you can be in an alliance with Cravers. But yeah, you can't declare peace on them, which is kind of whatever. It's a negative, but it doesn't really matter. Xenologistics. So you start out the game with mining, and you start out the game with better industry. This makes spamming at the start even stronger. So spamming at the start of the game is highly encouraged. Survival suits. Survival suits says you have more manpower, and you have chain gang. Chain gang is very good as Cravers because you can sacrifice Cravers to give your spaceships a lot more damage. At the cost of Cravers, you can make your spaceships a lot better. A lot better. So I think survival suits and chain gang is actually a really strong start. Now I want to go ahead and talk about the technology. So this is a technology screen, and I have the DLC, so it's going to look different. It's not the same tree. I'll go ahead and show you the DLC stuff. So DLC stuff is like this grayed out one here, and this grayed out one here. You have to do a quest to unlock this, and this is the DLC stuff, so don't worry about this. It only affects one spaceship, so don't worry about it. So Cravers. So Cravers, you do want to expand rapidly as you start out the game with extra resources, right? So you do want to expand rapidly at the start. So science is a pretty big deal. This will let you colonize. Now Cravers start out with pretty good speed, so my recommendations are you should get the colony upgrades, but you don't need these speed upgrades down here. These are all speed upgrades, and you don't really need them as Cravers. Now you will be traveling a lot, so eventually you will grab this. You will need speed upgrades eventually, but right now I'd get the planet unlocks. This will let us unlock these nearby planets right here. Now this is a pretty terrible start. So as you can see here, this can only fit 3 people, and that's with our population slot upgrade. So really this can only fit 1 person, and with our faction upgrade, this can fit 2 people, or 3 total. So this is a very terrible start, I think. But anyways, we do want to unlock planets, is what I'm getting at. So I'll go ahead and show you the technology screen again. So there's a flag here, and flag means you unlock a planet. Now you shouldn't grab these randomly. You really want to pay attention to what planet is available. So right here we have Toxic, and Toxic is probably the worst planet you can get. Toxic is terrible. Toxic is probably like the worst planet you can get. So Ocean is pretty good. So we can go ahead and grab Ocean. Ocean is what? This is 3 churns. I think that's worth it. We can go ahead and grab this. Now our next person isn't for 6 churns. So it's going to be a while before this fills up with people. So who knows? Maybe this isn't worth it at the start. Maybe grabbing this planet at the start is not a good idea, because it's going to take us a while to get a new person. Let me go ahead and show you the ships, and I'll show you some exploration. That way I can tell you which planet you should get and which planet you should avoid. And that's a good chunk of the early game. Now I do think Cravers have an amazing early game. Let me go ahead and talk about the ships. So this one here lets you have a new planet. This one here is your new planet ship, and it's pretty fast. You can make it even faster. So this will make it even faster, which is a pretty good idea at the start of the game. But it does cost money. You can see here. But with Cravers, everything is cheaper, right? So this money upgrade is actually pretty cheap. But you can make it faster at the start of the game if you want. But this ship here will let you have new planets. And it doesn't have a gun, which means it can't defend itself, right? So this is your planet taker. You can't shoot with it. It's very fragile, so you have to babysit it. Now, even if you max this thing out, it'll still be fragile. So you gotta really babysit it. the next ship to talk about is the Scavenger. So let's go ahead and talk about the Scavenger for a second. This is your main combat ship. This is your early game. And I do think Cravers have an amazing early game. This is an amazing ship. As you can see here, it does 147 damage at the start of the game. It's got 6 speed, which is amazing. It's got 300 shield, which is amazing. All these numbers are amazing. So you can have a second gun, which is great. Oh, weird. So before I got the DLC, this had 1 gun. After the DLC, now it has 2 guns. What? Weird. Yeah, before I got the DLC, this had 1 gun. Now it has 2. That's so strange. They definitely changed something. So you don't need 2 guns at the start of the game. So I think I might actually take these guns off. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. You don't need guns at the start of the game. What you really need is speed, right? So it's and nothing attacks you until turn like 12. So for turn 12, you don't need guns. So what I'm gonna do is actually take the guns off, and this will make the ship cheaper. And because it's cheaper, we can make it easier, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna take the guns off. This will make a lot cheaper. And now instead of 4 turns, it's now what? 2 turns. So that's a lot better than 4 turns. So let's go ahead and make these guys. Well, I don't need to take this gun off. I'll take the gun off the new ones. So these guys here can keep their guns. These guys here, I'll take the gun off, if that makes sense. We don't need 2 guns at the start of the game. But now it's 2 turns faster, if that makes sense. Let me talk about ships for a second here. So this did have 50% accuracy at medium range and 90% accuracy at short range. And what that means is if you look at these cards here, I want to show you the cards. So cards represent your range, and cards are pretty complicated, so I'll make this short. You want cards with the shortest range, which is actually the first one here. This first one here is the only one you'll use. The rest of these don't matter. This is not medium range. This is not medium range. This is short range. So this is the only card that we'll use. Now these 2 here are medium range. So let's actually swap these out. This one here is a lot better. It's medium range and short range, if that makes sense. And that's what our ships are. Our ships are medium and short. So this card here is a lot better than the starting one. So let's go ahead and swap our cards out. And we'll be using these 2 cards for most of the game. And if you go to let me show you this. So this is the science section of the skill tree. And if we go to the military side, way up here is a card. And you can see here that if we buy this, we'll get 3 cards. And these cards are a lot better than the starting ones. So once we get to all the way up here, once we get to way up here, we can actually get better cards. These cards are way better than the ones you start out with. So we definitely want to grab this. As a fighting faction, really you want to grab all of this. You want to grab all these upgrades because you are a fighting faction. So you want to think about grabbing all of this. Now it's impossible to grab these without mining and upgrades and all that. So when it comes to research, you want to expand. So you want to grab these ones here, which are expansion upgrades. And you definitely want to grab mining, which is over here on the right. Now these are money upgrades, which you don't need to worry about because we have cheaper ships. So don't worry about money. I would get the mining ones, which are down here. So what I would do as Cravers is get these early ones here. Get these ones over here, which is mining. Plasma metallurgy and atmospheric filtration. These are both for mining. Highly recommend as Cravers. If you're someone else, I would say something different. But as Cravers, you want to go down this path for sure. And as Cravers, you probably want to get the planets first, and then worry about mining second. Now to get these better guns, to get these better cards, we will need this one here, Empire Development. We need this to even unlock the guns, the better guns. So what we need to do is go this way just to get the guns. So what we want to do is grab these three here. This will let us declare war and stuff. This will help us interact with aliens, and this will help us get us more. This will help us get us slaves. So you want to grab these ones here. These ones here will help us with our slaves. Well, this will let us get more slaves. After we grab these ones here, the rest of these don't matter as Cravers. So don't worry about these ones. These ones don't matter. And to get the better guns, we need to go this way, up here, right? So I would recommend going this way for guns. And we start out with above average military, thanks to this. So really, our military is good to go. We're fine. I think our military is above average, so we're good. So as Cravers, I would say the first thing you should do is get more planets, which is what most factions do. Most factions get planets first. So we're gonna focus down here first, and then probably go down this path here. I want to grab these two here for slaves and expansion. And then to make these ships, we'll need money. So we need to go down this path here to get money. Now really what we want is level 1 and level 2 upgrades. You can see the level 1, level 2 upgrades here. Now level 3 and higher, we actually don't need as Cravers. We don't need to go any further than level 3. Level 3 and higher, don't worry about it as Cravers. We don't need any of this. This right here is useless as Cravers. What we want is to go up here. Level 3, level 4, level 5. If that makes sense. So that is our research tree. So we'll go down here first. Unlock planets. We'll probably go this way first to get lava planets. Lava planets are a big deal. If we find a lava planet, we're gonna grab it. And we'll go this way for slaves and empire. Now this direction here, you can go all the way across to level 4. We can go ahead and get the level 4 stuff. So this side here is very important. We need to go all the way across level 4. Now we can talk about the hero. So the hero is a senator, which is really good. because this will let us be a military faction longer. And senators basically force you to be a military faction. So senator is really good. Guardian can either be economy. Guardians are really good. So guardians can either be economy or a fighter. Now guardians are more of a fighter than economy, but you can do either one. If you want to make him economy, go for it. If you want him to be a fighter, go for it. They're very flexible. Guardians are really good. Now guardians are more of a fighter than economy, so I'm gonna go ahead and make him a fighter. Now I do want to give him a speed upgrade at the start of the game, and the speed upgrade will be cheaper because we're Cravers. So we're gonna go ahead and grab this speed upgrade. So right now our speed is 4, which is bad. We don't want 4 speed. So we'll go ahead and grab the speed upgrade. Now our speed is 6. Actually, we can't afford this. Let's take the shield off. We still can't afford it. There we go. Now we got the speed upgrade. Let's see. Yeah, we don't need the guns. There we go. Okay, so now our speed is 6, which is what we want. We want high speed at the start of the game. Damage doesn't matter. We want high speed. So let's go ahead and grab this high speed at the start of the game. And this will also give us a bonus ship. And we want a bonus ship. So now we have 4 ships at the start of the game. But one we need to babysit because it doesn't have a gun. Now you don't get attacked until about turn 12. So turn 12 we'll need to babysit. I guess I'll go ahead and explain military faction because I haven't explained that yet. So military faction, what this says is every time we go to war, we get plus 25 happiness. And every time we go to war, we get plus 15 happiness. Basically every time we go to war, we get about plus 30 happiness. So when we go to war, our happiness will skyrocket and we'll get better workers. But because we're slave drivers, our happiness is really low. Our happiness is bad right now. And because we're slave drivers, our happiness will always be low. We can't really fix that. So that's what military faction means. It means we'll get happiness when we go to war. So what we want to do as Cravers is just go to war with everyone. And that's what military faction means. We'll just go to war with absolutely everyone. This is different. This used to be 4 military and 1 religious. They changed this. This was 3 military, 1 religious. Weird. I think the DLC did change Cravers. Huh. Odd. Anyways, so another thing about Cravers is we have autocracy. And autocracy is a Craver only thing. Only these guys have it. Now the thing about autocracy is only Cravers can vote. So normally everyone can vote in government, but in autocracy only Cravers can vote. And Cravers want to kill stuff, right? So you're guaranteed to be a military faction as long as Cravers are there. So autocracy is really good. It guarantees you'll be a military faction, which is what you want. And another thing autocracy does is it stops any rebellion. So it's impossible for people to rebel against you. So these slaves here are going to be permanent because we're an autocracy. Because we're an autocracy, this will be a permanent slave, which is what we want. The next thing I'll talk about is this here, feeding pits. Feeding pits says we can kill a slave and generate happiness and food. Now, we don't want to kill our one and only slave because they won't come back. If we kill the slave, they'll never ever come back, right? So we're gonna have to wait until we get more slaves before we can press this button. So don't press this button. Don't press this button until we have more slaves, which we'll get through war. When we declare war, we can get more slaves, if that makes sense. The next thing we'll talk about is... Okay, I guess that's it for traits. But as you can see here, we have above average income, above average economy. So Cravers have a really good start. The next thing we'll talk about is Cravers themselves. I haven't yet talked about Cravers. So Cravers have 150% a bonus economy on planets that aren't eaten yet. So Cravers will have 50% more economy as long as the planet is not eaten. And this here, this symbol, this is a Craver only thing. This symbol here tells you when the planet will be eaten. And each Craver speeds up how fast this planet will be eaten. So it says right here, the planet will be eaten in 19 churns. You can see that? It says the planet will be eaten in 19 churns. So what that means is we need to get off this planet as soon as we can. That's what makes Cravers tricky, is you need to get off this planet immediately because it will be eaten. And the more Cravers we have, the harder the game will be because these planets will go by quicker and quicker and quicker. So as Cravers, you actually don't want Cravers, if that makes sense. Yes, you get 50% more economy, but your planets will go down quicker. So as Cravers, you actually don't want Cravers, if that makes sense. Because losing a planet is not worth the extra economy. Yes, you get a great start, but you don't want to lose your planet. So as Cravers, you actually don't want Cravers, if that makes sense. So gameplay. So it's gonna take us 6 turns to get a new Craver. So I think taking over this planet right now is not a good idea. And getting these planet upgrades don't really matter because our economy is so high, right? Our economy is great. So we don't actually need these planet upgrades right now. So we could do... I think the best thing to do right now is actually spam, which is what Cravers are good at. Cravers are really good at spamming. So I think early game, just go ahead and spam. And I think 3 is fine. I think 3 is enough to explore space. And to go to war, to even go to war, we're gonna need this. This will let us do treaties, and treaties will let us declare war. So we're gonna have to grab this. This will let us declare war. And to even declare war, we're gonna need this. So this is mandatory as Cravens. We're gonna need this. This is mandatory. Bionic shielding. That's mandatory. And this is mandatory because it unlocks treaties. So gameplay. Gameplay, you want to explore your starting area. Now normally the next empire is behind you. Most of the time the next empire is right behind you. So I'm pretty sure this is another player. Now I don't know which empire it is. It's random. This can be any empire. And even though we have a really good start, I don't feel like going to war turn 1. I think going to war turn 1 is not a great idea. We could go to war maybe turn 6. So for gameplay, we're going to go ahead and explore our starting area. So let's go ahead and do that. So we don't get attacked until about turn 12. So we don't need to babysit our ship. So let's just go ahead. Let's get our resources. Okay, that's pretty useless, to be honest. That's pretty useless. It's a pretty useless start. And that's pretty useless. It's a pretty useless start. Not a great start for Cravers. But we do have above average economy. So even though we have a bad start, it's not the end of the world. We do have an above average economy. So let's go ahead and explore our starting area. You're gonna have to explore it eventually. So let's just go ahead and explore it. And turn 5 you'll get a quest. Turn 5 you'll get a quest. And you can choose between military or religious. And both are pretty solid. If you want to become a religious faction, that's pretty solid. So it's up to you. We're gonna go ahead and get. We're gonna try to unlock new planets. So I think the first thing we'll do is get this one here. This will unlock ice planets. Now, if we get an ice planet, we'll grab it. But if we don't get an ice planet, we're not gonna use it. Okay, let's see if any of these are an ice planet. Lava planet, that's pretty solid. Ash planet, this will really boost our spamming ability. And a gas planet. Gas planets are pretty bad. Not the worst planets. And as Cravers, you want to expand immediately. Desert planet. Okay, this will fix our industry. We'll have tons and tons of industry. Okay, Savannah. So, what we actually want to do is cancel this. This is useless. We'll go ahead and cancel this research and get Savannah. So where is Savannah? Okay, Savannah is down here. So and what else did we get? An ash planet? Okay, we're gonna grab this one first. This will take 8 turns, but we did get an ash planet. So we're gonna grab this one first, if that makes sense. We could unlock this, but this does nothing. So we're gonna grab this one first, because we did get an ash planet. And we'll go ahead and keep exploring our starting area. Now, you can explore as much as you want until about turn 12. So you gotta explore right away. What you want to do is explore and then grab the goods. We'll grab the goods after we're done exploring. I'm going to use this guy to explore our surroundings. See if there's anything hidden. Okay. I'm just going to keep grabbing these treasures in case they're good. Okay, another bad one. We haven't got a single good treasure yet. This is a pretty awful start. Okay, this is useless too. So far all our treasures were useless. This is a pretty bad start for us. Okay, 8 churns we can grab this ash planet. We can also grab the desert planet. And we have 20 churns to get off our starting planet. So you can choose between military or religious. So this one gives us 50 yellow, which is really good. This gives us 60 happiness, which is kind of whatever. Let's go ahead and grab... I think this is better. So this is 60 happiness, which doesn't matter, because we're Cravers. And this is 50 yellow, which will help us with shipbuilding. This will make our ships better. So let's go ahead and grab this one. This will spawn an enemy, which we can't kill. So I did spawn an enemy we can't fight, so we're gonna have to wait on that. So far, each and every one of these treasures has been garbage. Okay, look at what do we got here? Another ash planet. Okay. And a savannah planet. So, what is that? Is this... What was this again? Savannah? Savannah. Okay, we really want savannah then. Is this savannah? No, it's ash. Okay, where's this is savannah, right? Okay, we need to get this as soon as we can. This will unlock 3 planets for us. So, what I would do is we need to get savannah planets as soon as we can. Sooner than later. Okay, we can go to war with these guys. This is another alien. And it looks like they're farmers. This is actually a DLC thing. We got DLC farmers. So we can't talk to these guys until we get this. So we're gonna have to grab that. That's gonna be mandatory. We can't even talk to these aliens until we grab this. And every time we kill an alien, we'll get a new slave. So we can grab these guys, and this will be our new slave population. It kind of sucks that we got more farmers. We have plenty of farmers, but hey, it's whatever. I think we got plenty of farmers, but whatever. I think pretty soon we'll put the guns back on. I think after this we'll put the guns back on and start fighting. Okay, we got another planet here. What is this? This is ice. Okay, so we got to unlock that. We need an ice planet. So ice planets are all the way down there. So that's gonna take a while. That's gonna take like 20 turns to unlock. So we're not gonna be able to grab this for a while. So I guess don't worry about it. we're not going to be able to grab that for a long time. And I think pretty soon we'll put the guns back on. We're getting close to turn 12. So let's go ahead and grab this. Okay, this is pretty good treasure. More food. So we got a lot of food at the start of the game. So we'll have plenty of food. Food will not be an issue for us. So what sucks is this is a farming faction. We kind of needed science. But whatever. And now... let's see. In 3 turns we'll have ash planets. So I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get more planet people. We'll go ahead and grab these so we can get the ash planets. And I think now we'll grab this ocean planet. We'll grab that turn 6. This is kind of a rough start, but I think this is what you should do. And what is this? Boreal. Ice. Another ice planet. That sucks. This is a bad start. Another ice planet. Okay, we can't even get these ones. With Cravers, you really want to expand immediately. So we do have Boreal unlocked. So we can go ahead and grab this planet here. This will be our first expansion. And I think I'll stop the video there. I think this will give you an idea of how to play. I think in the next turn, we'll put the guns back on. Now that we have... see, we have more money now. We have 400. So now we can afford to put these guns back on. Okay, we'll go ahead and put the guns back on. This will cost us 100 gold. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll put the guns on. And we'll go ahead and get an army going. And getting an army as Cravers is really easy. And once this ship connects... so, what I'm gonna do is... this is the Bay of Moth quest, which is DLC. Getting Bay of Moths as Cravers is really easy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mash these guys together. So now there's 3 of them. And now we can do the main quest. And when we do the main quest, we'll get this planet too. So we're gonna do 2 things at once. And in 2 turns, we will unlock ash planets, which was over here. Which is... oh, nope, it wasn't over there. We can grab this one. So we'll have this ash planet unlocked. And I think this one was an ash planet. Yeah. So we can grab this ash planet too. We can grab that one. This is a horrible, horrible start. This might actually be the worst start I've ever seen. This is a terrible start. But that's what I would do. This is what I would do if you got this start. And hopefully that'll teach you how to play the game. Now this is a party game. It's meant for multiplayer and stuff, so don't take it too seriously. But this is what I would do if you're a Cravers. And you really have to pay attention to this here. This is a big deal. When your planet is empty, you'll get a big penalty. So this is a big deal. So now we have another Craver, which is bad. We actually want less Cravers. So that's something you have to worry about. As Cravers, you actually want to get rid of your Cravers, if that makes sense. what we want is more slaves. Slaves are better than Cravers. And hopefully that will help you out. I'll go ahead and kill this quest, and that'll be the end of the video. Let's go ahead and kill this quest. With 3 ships, we'll be fine. And we want to use the starting card. Once we get the starting card, we can kill it. Okay, pretty soon. And we will get pirates here in a minute. Okay, now we got ash planets. Let's see. I guess we'll get food. Food sounds alright. Well, actually, we need those savannah planets right now. So we could do... Let's grab this one. We need those savannah planets sooner than later. And we also need this to take out those farmer aliens. So let's do that. And let's get to our first fight. And Cravers love fighting, so all fighting is good. And what is this? A gas. That's useless. Gas are like level 3 planets, so very useless until turn like 20. And Baron. Baron's also useless. So these are all useless. We should be able to win this fight now, which is the quest. And we'll get 50 yellow for it. Okay, we were able to win the quest, and we'll get 50 yellow for that. There we go, 50 yellow. This is actually a lot. And we'll need a curiosity, which we can do. We actually have a curiosity right here, so we can go ahead and get the quest done. We'll go ahead and grab this. Get these curiosities, and one of these is the quest. Okay. Oh, that's a pretty good event. We got a good random event. Okay, these planets here are actually really solid. So we should probably grab these ones. These are really, really solid planets. They're also science planets, which is really good. Right now we have no science. So this is a prize for us. We really want to grab this. This is really important. If we want to win, we really need to grab this. These are really important planets. And if we do these curiosities, we'll get the quest done. So we're actually doing 2 things at once. So that is how I would play Cravers. This is how I would do. This is how I would expand. If that makes sense. This is how I would play Cravers. And we actually have above average amount of rocks. We have 50 rocks, and we have 30 blue, which is above average. So we have above average amount of rocks. And we have what is it? We have 5 mushrooms. We have 10 plants. That's actually not bad. We got a pretty decent amount of plants. So that's good. And I think we have enough ships. We have like 8 ships? I think 8 ships is enough. That's 800 damage. And I think 800 damage is enough. So now we can focus on planet upgrades and get our planet upgrades going. And we can go ahead and get this ash planet now, because we have ash planets unlocked. We can go ahead and grab this one here. And that is how I would play. It's probably not perfect. I'm a new player, but this is how I would play as Cravers. This is a Craver thing. You should always get the planets next to you, though. So you should always grab these planets here, even if they're bad. You need to expand, right? So I would always grab these planets, even if they're bad, because you have to expand to play the game. And that's how I would play. You don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want. And that's a guide for you. So as Cravers, you want to declare war on everyone. And you can have an alliance. So that's fun. And you want to declare war on these farmers here. And when we take their planet, they'll be recruited. Now I think these farmers start out with a pretty good ship. So we need to upgrade before we fight them. We can't kill these farmers right away. And killing these farmers will take like 10 turns, which we can't afford at the start of the game. We can't afford to waste 10 turns on these guys. So we're gonna have to wait on that. What we're gonna have to do is really explore and expand, because these farmers will not move, right? These farmers will just stay there. They'll stay there forever. So what we could do is expand, upgrade, and then kill the farmers, and then we'll make them slaves, and then because they're slaves, we'll get a massive boost. Because they're farmers, we'll get a massive food boost, which is good. It'd be better if these were scientists. We'll get a massive science boost, but whatever. And yeah, that's how I would play. Hopefully this would help you out. I do think Cravers are one of the easier factions. And yeah, hopefully this helped you out. In a turn or two, we will have this planet here, and we'll have this planet here. And we also unlocked this one here. We can grab that. And we also have this planet here. We can grab that. So we'll have we'll have 3 planets in a turn or two. In about 2 turns, we'll have new planets. So that's pretty good. And yeah, that's how I'd play Cravers. This is how I would do this start. And yeah. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.